The connection paradox. The power of being imperfect. Most couples believe that distance stems from a lack of love. But the truth is much more subtle. Distance happens because we've built an iron armor around ourselves. We are terrified that if we show our wounds, we will be led to rejection or judgment. But there lies the paradox. You cannot be truly loved until you are truly seen. Today, we are tearing down the facade. We are discovering why vulnerability is not a weakness, but the only gateway to a life full of essence. Let's get started. A relationship without vulnerability is like a showroom house, impeccable on the outside, but cold and empty on the inside. We maintain this barrier of perfection, a game of roles that does nothing but feed the ego. We pretend to have all the answer in the world, to always be strong, but the price we pay is huge. We lose depth. Brené Brown, after decades of research, discovered that the primary obstacle is shame. That visceral fear of disconnection that whispers, is there something about me that, if seen, would make me unworthy of love? Dr. Gabor Maté completes this picture by stating that vulnerability is essential for both biological and emotional growth. When we try to numb our vulnerability for fear of being hurt, we accidentally numb our capacity to feel joy, gratitude, or ecstasy. You cannot selectively numb emotion. It's all or nothing. Imagine wearing heavy metal armor all day long to protect yourself from criticism. In the evening, you arrive home. Vulnerability is that moment when you have the courage to unbuckle those straps in front of your partner and say, "This is me without shields. I can be hurt, but I choose to trust you." Vulnerability is a magnet, not a shield. From a neurobiological perspective, when you're honest and vulnerable, your partner's nervous system receives a safety signal. Aggression drops, defensiveness dissolves. It is the art of letting yourself receive. It is where self-knowledge meets mutual acceptance, opening the gates to an intimacy that no mask of perfection could ever simulate. The four pillars of vulnerability. To navigate this space, we need four fundamental keys. First, authenticity. Let go of who you think you should be in order to be who you actually are. People don't fall in love with our perfection. They fall in love with the cracks through which the soul becomes visible. Second, the courage to initiate. The bravery to say, "I love you" first. To ask for help when you feel overwhelmed, or to admit a mistake before you are caught. It is taking the risk without a guaranteed outcome. Third, self-awareness. You cannot be vulnerable if you don't know your own limits and fears. You must know where it hurts so you can show your partner where to be gentle. The fourth, acceptance. This is the bridge that blends the others together, creating harmony but within yourself and within a couple. Daily practice, for example, the power of micro vulnerabilities. If the idea of bearing your soul completely feels overwhelming, start with micro vulnerabilities. What does this look like in practice? It means having the courage to be imperfect in the little things. First, acknowledge a minor mistake. Instead of making defensive excuses when you forget something, simply say, "I'm sorry, I got distracted and I forgot. My bad." Second, ask for help before you're exhausted. Try saying, "I'm really drained after today. Could you help me with dinner?" Instead of bottling up frustration and until you explode. The third, confess a silly insecurity. "You know, I felt a bit uncomfortable when you made that joke, even though I know you didn't mean to hurt me. These moments are like trust bricks. If you can be vulnerable in these small things, you won't have the courage to be vulnerable during a major crisis. Start today. Pick one small thing you usually hide and show it to your partner. You'll see how, almost instantly, the tension between you begins to fade. Of course, there is a risk of being hurt. There is what we call a vulnerability hangover. That pit in your stomach on the regret of having said too much the morning after. But remember, vulnerability is the birthplace of joy, creativity, and the true sense of belonging. Without risk, there is no emotional reward. I think this is the benefit. In conclusion, fear of vulnerability often masquerades as stoic discipline, as a strong character. But in reality, it is just the fear of being seen. Don't let cynicism steal your capacity to love and be loved. You are worthy of love exactly as you are right now. Not when you lose weight, not when you have more money, and not when you are in an exotic vacation. The moment is now. Vulnerability is the key to the depth and naturalness of relationship. Believe in this truth. You are enough. To be vulnerable is finally to be alive. I'm curious to know your thoughts on vulnerability. What does it mean to you to be vulnerable, and what does it bring to your own life? I'll be waiting for you in the comments. For more content on conscious relationships and couples connected through healthy intimacy, please like, share and subscribe. See you in the next video. Ciao. Thank you.